Hey, good evening. Sorry. Good to see everybody. Turn to somebody beside you and let them know that you're glad that they are here. We want to welcome anybody who might be joining us online. We know we have folks joining from all over the country, and we're glad to have you wherever you may be. Welcome to True North. Everybody in person, we're glad to have you as well. Hey, so many things are going to happen tonight that we're going to jump right in. So if you got a phone, would you silence that phone so that it's not a distraction? That would be very, very helpful. That would be great. And then also, if you don't mind, if you've got a drink, remember, no drinks are allowed here unless they're in a container. That's borderline. You know, hold that one up, Chandler.
You've got a lot to drink.
Right, yeah.
What?
There we go.
He was drinking out of that.
Now you can't do it.
You just handled his straw.
You can't do it. So if you've got an open drink, please make sure that you're holding on to it. If it's got a straw, make sure you're holding on to it. Oh, thank you, Logan. Good job. Hold on to it or get rid of it here in just a minute. That would be great. We're just trying to reduce the number of spills that we have, and we're trying to reduce the amount of time that you miss worship because you're cleaning up spills. So there you go. All right, we're about to have everybody stand up, and when we do that, you can dispose of your drinks. We're going to let you meet somebody that you don't know, and anybody that might be sitting off to the sides, we'll try to scoot in. Any teens that are sitting in the back, move up and join us if you'd like, if you don't have to, but we'd love to have you join us up here. Those of you that are going to welcome our guests, come on up. And if this is your very first time, Blake, would you explain, if somebody's here for the very first time, what do they need to do during our 4-minute party?
During your 4-minute party, if you're here for the first time, come on up, and we've got a form for you to fill out, but we've also got a Baskin-Robbins gift card for you to get some ice cream, one of 31 different flavors, and just gives us a chance to meet you and for you to meet some other people as well. Come up here.
We're not going to embarrass you. We'll let you do that while everybody stands up. Or if you came before but never got your gift card, you can come and do that now. Hey, everybody, this is the time to greet somebody, hopefully somebody you've not already talked to. Who can honor us by trying to find somebody you've not already talked to? Who will do that? All right, good job, guys. Good job. Hope it goes well. Let's all stand up and let's have a 4-minute party. Let's go.
Hey, what's up? You know how it is. We're back here again. True North, man. Oh man, I was sick last week and I couldn't come. I feel like I have some in my mouth, but never mind. I was sick last week and I couldn't come, and I'm sorry about that because I didn't get to tell you that about how fabulous you look. But it's true, you do look rather fantastic, and I would say that this might be the best you've ever looked. I don't know. I'm just saying that. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know, but yeah.
Hi, Miss Andy. Hi.
Don't tell me.
Hi.
There's like a Y in here. I was thinking Riley. It's not Riley. I didn't get my close at all. Is there an L? And a Y. Put the first letter in. Do what? Oh, so it's not Riley or Bailey. All right, tell me one more time. All right. I did meet somebody the other day. Somebody might have to sleep in a towel on the floor.
Hi. Hey, Lennon's dad. Yeah, this is Colson. I'm Colson.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Mom and Dad. Hey, Larry and Rhonda. Glad to have anybody joining us for True North. Gonna have a lot of fun tonight. We'll see you soon. right, let's make our way back. Make your way back on and grab a seat, everyone. All right, we're going to roll right on through. Let's keep going. We have some folks who are a little bit older or who are about to be older or maybe who turned older today. All right, True North, it's time for our birthdays in the borough. If you've got a birthday on the following dates, February the 5th or February the 11th, come on up.
Hey,
February the 5th or the 11th.
Happy birthday.
Sublet, come on up. Happy birthday. Is it just you? Is it just you tonight? Come on up right here. Good job.
Looks like it.
Only one birthday. One birthday. That means you have a chance. You have a chance right here to win a Sour Patch Kids. Come on up, Zeb. Okay, for those that may be watching at home that are just tuning in, Zeb's the worst charades player ever. All right, you got...
I've started to wonder, though, if we're the worst charades
If
players.
we're the worst?
If we're the worst charades players.
Why is that?
Because only one person has gotten it right at this point.
That's right. It's probably, there's some synergy going on. You'll have 30 seconds to get one word or phrase, okay? Close your eyes, look down so you can't see everybody playing at home. Don't help out or give a hint. This is the word you're going to try to get. This is the word. That is your word that you're going to try to do. I'm really curious to see what Zeb comes up with. Okay, you can look up, Nathan. We got 30 seconds on the clock. Your 30 seconds. Talk out loud, and we can hear you. Your 30 seconds start right now.
Driving.
Okay.
Steering wheel. Water. Waterfall. Water.
You had 5 seconds.
You have 6 seconds.
All right, before we show the word, I want Skid to do it.
Oh, we got it.
Can you accurately describe that word?
Can I accurately describe it? Yes. Wow. Yes. I don't know that we have time, but we'll try it. Okay. All right. Are you ready? Okay, you ready? All right, here we go. Ray, let's try this.
Cold.
Okay.
Driving.
It's basically what Zeb did so far.
Mm-hmm.
Big crowd.
Okay, help me out. Let's give some advice here.
That's good.
Get a clue here.
You're doing
What
great.
did you say? What have you got so far?
Driving. A lot of people.
It's cold.
Okay.
A winter fest.
Keep going. You gotta keep guessing. No, keep going. Somebody, who's got a clue? Who's got a clue?
It's not as easy as it looks.
Who's got a clue? We've got driving, cold, big crowd, Winterfest. Okay, now you got road trip. I know I'm talking because that's not part of charades, but I'm just reminding you of the clues you've already gotten. Road trip, Winterfest, big crowd, cold, driving. Well, for the sake of time, we'll move on. This was the word. That was the. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That was your word. Yeah. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. All right. Don't leave. We're gonna sing. You still win. We're gonna sing Happy Birthday to you. Let's all sing, everybody. The words you only need to remember 3 simple words. Those words are: you're still cool, and they go like this. Make it feel cool. Here we go. You're still cool. Come on.
You still got it.
Come on. Big finish. Birthday today. That's why we're here to say, come on, that you're still cool. All right, everybody say happy birthday. Have a good one. All right, congratulations. There we go. All right, folks, coming up on Sunday. We have, tell us what's happening on Sunday.
There's a football game.
When and where?
Here at the building at 5 p.m.
Oh, we got to cover up the logo. We can't show that.
Yeah, show up at 5 p.m., bring 2 cans to get in free or a couple of bucks. We're going to hang out. What?
It is a free event.
Oh, yeah.
It is a free event as long as you bring 2 canned goods.
Non-perishable
If
canned
not, it's
goods.
$3.
Not the bird 2 can. Cooper.
Okay, or you can bring a 2 can.
If you have a pet 2 can, I'd love to meet it.
That would be nice as well. Hey, and those of you that have signed up to participate in the Mexico mission trip, teens, if you signed up as a teen, unless you have been told you are on a waiting list, which is only a few people, we still have not gotten our adult list completely trimmed down. Still working on that. Teens, you all are able to bring food items. Look for an email with instructions about how to bring food items for the Super Bowl party. Here's what you need to know. Listen carefully. You're going to put on there a suggested donation, what the item is, any allergies people need to be aware of, and your name. And then when you put the suggested donation, then people will purchase that item, and you'll get your name, you'll get your credit for it. If it's not sold, we will do our best to purchase as many of those things as we can from funds that we have, so you can at least get some money for those so nothing is wasted. After True North tonight, we need every teen that can, especially some of you guys, especially those that are interested in this trip. We're going to get the tables out of this closet. We're going to take them and line them up down that hallway on either side, not blocking the doors, right after class. If everybody gets 1 or 2 tables, we'll have that knocked out in under 8 minutes or less. It'll be great. That's going to be on Sunday, and all of your food items need to be brought here Sunday morning before 8 o'clock. Look for an email with all your info. If you got it, say got it. Got it. All right, very good. We're going to go quick because we got lots to do and lots of exciting things. I forget what's next, but it is time to remind you one more time about Winterfest. Is O'Chancey going to be there this year? Will O'Chancey be playing?
Sure. I mean, if Dudley's involved, they will be.
Are you going to wear your shirt? All right. February 17th to the 19th. Just be looking for info about that. We leave next week, Friday, meeting here at noon. If you still need one of the letters, to get out of school early, it may or may not help you. Those are up here. You can get those after you are done. Wow. Okay. Oh, the question we're all asking, what makes DJ Mike laugh? Is that how you all are asking the question? Okay. All right. Well, here's what made him laugh. I'm beginning to pick a theme. I'm beginning to see a theme as to what makes DJ Mike laugh. This one actually made me laugh too. Caught me off guard. Here we go. Check it out.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the...
Reminded us though, we found another video that we also like. That. Oh, here we go. There we go. Those are always great. All right. So that is what makes DJ Mike laugh. Have you developed a cool handshake yet?
No.
I'm hoping they're here. Are they here tonight? Both you guys are here?
Yep,
all right. It's time for one of our new favorite segments, which is Bet You Wish You Had a Handshake This Cool. And tonight's contestants, where are David and Jansen? Come on up, guys.
David. There's Jansen.
We had David and Jack, and then we had Kate and Drew. Those were both really good handshakes. And guys, go up on the stage there where we can see you. Watch out for the equipment. And then let's see it. Here we go, guys. Nice. That was good. That was a good one. I like it.
Well done, sirs.
I like it. Good job.
Well done.
All right. Well, what's going to be as good as that? Maybe Baby Drew Berard. This week's Baby Drew Berard picture. Here it is. That's nice. That's nice. That's adorable. Drew, where are you, Drew? Was this like for an Easter card? Okay. Yeah. It's almost as adorable. It's almost as adorable. Let's see. Zeb's clean shaven now. That's a surprise. It shocked all of us. Which reminded us of this picture here. That's one of my favorite pictures of Zeb. I love that. I love that look, Zeb. Okay. Oh, we just barely have time, everybody. We just barely have time. For a Wild Times with Cooper Grubbs. Don't know if that's me or me or you. I'm not sure what's going on there. All right, take it away.
Okay, so this this one time in elementary school, every year we used to have like celebration days where we could bring in our like iPod touches and play games and stuff and like some candy or whatnot. And I decided to bring in a bag of Nerds. Well, it wasn't a box, but I put it in a bag because I thought that'd be easier. I was eating them, and I was like, what, Nerds aren't that good, so I stopped eating them. And then I was just like kind of playing with the bag, and then it ripped, and there was just Nerds everywhere, like little tiny Nerds all over the place. It was crazy. It was Wild Times.
Very nice, very nice. Is that mine or is that ours? All right, Wild Times indeed, Wild Times indeed. Hey, we have something exciting and special that's a long time coming, and we're really, really thrilled. We want everybody to make sure you're paying attention, and everybody at home also can join in. I see Courtney in the room. Courtney Parsons, come on up here, Courtney. Come here a second, and bring your family with you. Just bring them all. Bring all the Parsons. So many Parsons. All right. We're gonna see if we can. You can share that microphone with us so we meet everybody else. But maybe maybe it's me now. Maybe it's me. Should I turn this off? Okay. All right. So we have Noah. Can you wave, Noah? And we have Ellie. Ellie, can you wave? Can you wave, Ellie? And then we have Tyler. Tyler, can you wave? All right, very good. And this is Courtney. So Courtney, as of starting next week, we're really excited, and she's going to explain a little bit about why her passion and desire to do this kind of was planted in her heart. But starting next week, she's going to be joining in a part-time capacity our nbyg ministry team to work and specifically focus with ministry to the girls of our group, but to all of the nbyg, guys and girls. We want to get a chance to meet her. Some of you already know her because she's been working with the 7th and 8th grade girls for a long time back in that class, for at least for the year, back in the classroom back here. So you girls already know her. The other girls, slowly we're going to give you opportunities for a chance to get to know Courtney. She'll be joining us on quite a few events as we go throughout the calendar year. But would you join us, nbyg, in welcoming Courtney Parsons to our nbyg ministry team? Courtney, it looks like we're down to sharing mics up here, but first, just tell us a little bit about yourself for the people that don't know you at all.
My name's Courtney. I'm 32, and this is my husband, Tyler, and my family. I went to Lipscomb for undergrad and then Harding for PT school, so I've been a physical therapist for the past 7 years.
Wow.
And also have always enjoyed working with youth.
What church did you grow up going to?
I grew up going to Fairlane Church of Christ. So if you know Russ and Natalie Countess, or if you were here when Marissa and Grant and Seth were here, they were all little tots when I was there.
Yeah, and Russ was the youth minister there.
Russ was our youth minister, yes, and he also married me and Tyler, so
okay,
he appreciated our wedding.
Now, you all are about to go to class in just a minute, but let's do this. Would you all answer a question for us? Ellie, can you tell us what is one of your favorite things to do, Ellie? What do you really like to do when you go home?
The thing I really like to do is play with Mommy.
Oh, like to play with Mommy. That's very nice. That's fun. And then Noah looks like he's ready to talk here. This could be good. Noah?
Huh?
Noah, do you have something you'd like to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us. What would you like to say?
That I just love my Mommy and
Hey, no, come right over here, Noah, so that way the camera over here, I think it maybe pick you up a little bit better. You can come stand right over here. Come stand right over here. All right, what were you saying, everybody? Tell us all again. What do you like to do when you go home? What is your favorite thing to play? What do you like to play?
Wrestling.
Wrestling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. Who's the? Oh, now we're gonna give it over. Okay. All right, Tyler. Now it's Tyler's turn to tell us what you like to do. Tyler, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm married to Courtney. Go me. I grew up in Mississippi. I'm also a physical therapist. I've been doing that for about 7 years. Went to Harding. Go Bisons.
What part of Mississippi did you grow up in?
Tupelo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, not far from where my in-laws live, in Potts Camp.
I know where that is.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's small.
Impressive. All right, well, let's do this. We're going to let's do a lightning round and just think of some questions, Courtney, because we want to make sure we get to know a few things. Normally, when we have guests, Blake and I will just kind of fire off questions back and forth to say, and I've not even really thought of a ton of these, but give me when you go to the movie theater, you're going to watch a movie, what is your go-to candy at the movie theater?
Skittles.
Okay. Do you have a favorite flavor of Skittles?
I really like the purple bag, the tropical.
Okay, all right, tropical Skittles. All right, very good. Okay, good. That's lightning round number one. We may have to share that mic there. So do you have a lightning round question?
What is the best Christmas gift you ever got?
Oh my.
Best Christmas gift.
Ooh, I know it's supposed to be quick.
That's all right.
This is gonna sound so silly, but when I was young, I was really, really, really wanting this. Okay, I was a huge SpongeBob fan, and it was
nice.
Patrick Star pillow. That's what I wanted so bad. And when I came down Christmas morning, it was there. Santa brought it, and it was the best thing I've ever had. So.
Okay, all right, very good, very good. What is your favorite Disney movie growing up when you were a kid? Not necessarily as an adult or a college student or teen, but when you were a child, what was your favorite go-to Disney movie?
My go-to was Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, all right, very good. Beauty and the Beast. Do you have a favorite song from Beauty and the Beast?
Be Our Guest. Yeah.
Okay, all right, Be Our Guest. All right, very good. Next lightning round question. You got one?
All right, you're on a long road trip and you've got to get something to snack on. What is your go-to gas station snack and drink?
Is this like Buc-ee's? Is that allowed?
Okay, you're at a Buc-ee's.
If we're going to Buc-ee's, I get the Buc-ee Nuggies and a grape soda.
Okay, all right, very nice. Okay, what is one place you have never been in the United States? Let's go with the continental United States that you've never been, that you say this is on the bucket list to go and see.
Montana. I just want to go to Montana and I want to fly fish.
Okay, all right.
Want to take me?
All right, very good, very good. All right, you got another one? Can you think of one more? We're agonizing over the lightning.
All right, Saturday morning you wake up, you're young. What's the cartoon that you were most forward to watching?
Question. Did you watch cartoons on Saturday morning?
Yes. I don't know when I was young. I really wanted to watch Boy Meets World. That's when I was younger. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's a good enough answer. Okay. That'll be a popular answer with this crowd. All right. Very good. Hey, so we're going to let you stay up here. We know the kids got to get to class. You guys are ready to go to class? Are you excited about going to class? All right. And their dad's going to get them to class. And we're so glad to have you as a part of our family as well. We can show our appreciation and a welcome to the family. We're going to ask Courtney to stay up here for a second. But let's say thank you and goodbye to the other three Parsons. See you guys right here, right here. High five. Boom. See you guys. Bye, Ellie. So when we talked about this job, you jumped at the chance and said, this is something I'm really passionate about. You obviously were a teen girl at one time in your life. There's no shocker to anybody here. And I told you earlier to just kind of think of give a description of why you feel passionate about doing this at this time in your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Growing up at Fairlane, we had a girls' ministry, and it was called Grits, which typically is girls raised in the South, but it was girls raised in the service. And we did all kinds of service projects together. We met like different people of different ages in our church, and just like really developed this huge community of women. And those women have been so important to me like throughout my life, in high school, in middle school, in college. Those are the women that I would reach out to for like godly advice that really just like brought me back down to where I needed to be, to make the right choices. So it's just really important to me that y'all all have that here as well, and that you can each lean on each other and know that you're going to have those godly friends to just support you as you're growing with God and then growing as an adult or into an adult.
So Courtney's had a lot of the same experiences, going to some of the same trips that we go on, going to some of the same places, even some of the same mission points, some of the same events, and then of course retreats. So she knows youth ministry, but she also knows North Boulevard, her family. How long have you all been at North Boulevard?
6 years.
Okay, great. And you have, how many siblings? You have a sister?
I have a sister that's 1 year older than I am, and then a brother that is 6 years older than I am.
And your sister and her husband are here at North Boulevard?
Yes.
Okay, and where's your brother?
They live in Franklin. So
okay, very good. Mm-hmm. So we're going to say a whole lot more about opportunities for you all to get to meet Courtney, opportunities for her to join our group. She won't be able to go to Winterfest with us this year because of a prior commitment, but we'll be helping out with a girls' retreat and obviously with some quarterly events. And we'll make that known to most of you or to all of you how that's going to work as we go forward. But we're really excited to have somebody that can say, I want to be there to help connect our younger girls to older women, which is obviously a scriptural kind of mandate, and we look forward to that. We look forward. There's a whole lot of teens, a whole lot of girls, more than you're going to be able to learn quickly. The learning curve is going to be steep, but you're up for it because you've let us know you're really excited about that.
I really am. I cannot wait to get to know all of you girls and guys, but mainly the girls. Sorry.
Yep. We love your family already. We're glad to have you. Let's give another big welcome to Courtney, everybody. Thanks a lot, Courtney. Thanks for being here. We're really excited about that, and girls, we'll make it known how you can contact her. We'll get her added to our nbyg website, so you find a way to be able to email. This is a part-time capacity, and so we'll explain what that looks like and how that's going to work as we move forward into the future. But we're really excited, and we're going to count on a lot of you girls also to generate some ideas for Courtney as we go forward with that. Good crowd tonight, and we wanted to spend some time in worship, and we've asked Sean and the praise team to come and worship with us. It's going to be awesome to be able to turn that over to them. I'm going to let them come up and get in place. While they do that, since some of our students that normally lead will be freed up, if some of you would like to pray for some of your peers, we're going to have a few songs where you can do that. And so some of our teens that are on our prayer team, would you stand up right now and just kind of make your way to the back of the room? Anybody else? Look around and see some of these folks. If you have any desire to pray with them, we've got some guys and girls moving around the room. Find them, adults, guests, anybody can find one of these folks and pray. In a minute, we're all going to stand up, so it may be tough to identify them. So see where they are now. The prayer requests that you wrote down last week are in this room right now. I personally handed them to Miss Sharon, and she is praying over all of those prayer requests that you prayed. But if you want to get somebody to pray with you over those, do that. We've asked Sean. Blake and I went to a conference in Colorado in January. We heard some new songs. One or two we sing at Boulevard, or they've been introduced. One of them has not, but you all have been learning it, and you're going to introduce it to us for the first time. We're going to get the first debut of the praise team's version of one of my new favorite songs to listen to called Hymn of Heaven. It's going to be a really awesome song. So we're going to sing some you may not sung in a while. Let's get ready to worship, and let's stand up together. And guys, let's sing out. We'll turn the lights out, and let's get ready to go.
All right. Hey, I'm so excited to be with you all tonight and sing with the teens. Hey, I want to invite you to come closer. You guys ever gather closer? Hey, come close up. Come as close as you can. It is good for believers in Jesus to sing about Him, and let's encourage each other. Here we go.
You are good when there's nothing good in me. You are love on display for when the darkness closes in. You are hope, you are hope, you have covered all my sin. And no, I'm running to your arms, I'm running to your arms. The riches of your love will always be enough. Nothing compares to your embrace. Light of the world, forever reign. You are peace, when my fear is crippling. You are true, even in my wandering. You are joy, you're the reason that I sing. You are life, in you death has lost its sting. Here we go. And no, I'm running to your arms, I'm running to your arms. The riches of your love will always be enough. Nothing compares to your embrace. Light of the world, forever reign. My heart will sing no other name. Jesus, Jesus. My heart will sing no other name. Jesus, Jesus. My heart will sing no other name. Jesus, Jesus. Let it out. My heart will sing no other name. Jesus, Jesus. I'm running to your arms, I'm running to your arms. The riches of your love will always be enough. Nothing compares to your embrace. Light of the world, forever reign. Light of the world, forever reign. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire. In darkest night, you are close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend. I have lived in the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life is running after, it's running after me. It's running, your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now, I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. Amen. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. Let me hear you. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. Right, all the women. You make me new. You are making me new. You make me new. You are making me new. Now the guys on that last part. Here we go. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. Sing it again. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. Right, just the women. Here we go. You make me new. You are making me new. You make me new. You are making me new. All right, as Skid was saying, we have a new song tonight. And so this is Hymn of Heaven. If you know it, go ahead and start singing out. Here we go. How I long to breathe the air of heaven, where pain is gone and mercy fills the streets, to look upon the one who bled to save me and walk with him 1,000 generations sing, worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Forever he shall reign. So let it be today. We shout the hymn of heaven with angels and the saints. We raise a mighty roar. Glory to our God who gave us life beyond the grave. Holy, holy is the Lord. So let it be today. We shout the hymn of heaven with angels and the saints. We raise a mighty roar. Glory to our God who gave us life beyond the grave. Holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy is the Lord.
Praise God for a new song, you guys. That's really good. Did you already know that one? Raise your hand if you knew that one already. A few. I heard you. All right, we're going to sing another one. This is not new. Here we go. You are not a God created
By human hands, you are not a God dependent on any mortal man. You are not a God in need of anything we can give by your plan. That's just the way it is. You are God alone from before time began. You are on your throne. You are God alone. And right
Praise God. Hey, I love singing with you guys.
Hey, let's show our thanks to Sean and the praise team again for coming and joining us tonight. Thanks so very much, guys. Thank you. Wow.
Is that turned on? Let me see it. Did he give it to you? Let me see it. Is it turned on?
I believe.
All right, wow. It was awesome to have them here. Before we begin, can we pause for a minute and listen to a reading from the Holy Word of God, from the 10th chapter of the Gospel of John?
Very truly, I tell you, Pharisees, anyone who does not enter the sheep pen by the gate, but climbs in by some other way, is a thief and a robber. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep listen to his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes on ahead of them, and his sheep follow him because they know his voice. But they will never follow a stranger. In fact, they will run away from him because they do not recognize a stranger's voice. Jesus uses this figure of speech, but the Pharisees did not understand what he was telling them. Therefore, Jesus said again, very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who come before me are not thieves and robbers, but the sheep have not listened to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep.
Amen. Thanks, Kate. May the Lord bless the reading of his word. I'm curious, how many of you have a family member, probably a mom or a dad, who when they have a unique way of getting your attention in a public place where there's a lot of people and they're trying to get your attention, they have a specific or special way that they say something or call your name and you can hear them and spot them. Let's hear. Alexa, what is yours?
My dad whistles.
Okay, he whistles. Is it a very loud whistle?
Yeah, if he's in here, ask him to do it. No.
That wasn't it.
He goes like,
Oh, okay. All right, very good. I don't guess Eric's in the room. All right, who's got one over here? I saw a hand over here. Chandler.
He goes, Chandler.
Does it work?
Oh, it works, yes.
And you can hear it over other. If I said Chandler, would you think that's my dad? But you know your dad, right?
I know my dad.
All right, very good. Who's got another unique way of being summoned by a parent? Is this real?
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom either starts counting down in Korean, or I can hear her keys jingling, and that kind of gets me.
She counts down in Korean.
Yeah.
Can you do that for us?
She goes like hana, do, and then it's like I know it's her, and I'm terrified.
Okay, and you know. All right, very good. Who else has got one? Who else has got one back here? Yeah, Luke. Okay. All right, very good. Adults in the back, anybody have, growing up, you had a unique way that you were summoned by a parent or maybe a grandparent? Anybody have a story back there? Nobody's got one that they're willing to share? Yeah, Merv. All right, Merv, listen up, guys, so you can hear back there. It just the clearing of his throat. Yeah, got it. Many of you know Brennan Alexander. You guys know Brennan? Raise your hand if you know who Brennan is. Brennan was in our group for a long time, helped out with the group. Brennan builds our bonfire almost every year for the fall retreat. And Brennan's dad, probably the most unique, next to Cindy Patton, who has a very loud whistle to get Perry Patton's attention. How many of you have heard Cindy Patton's whistle before? Who has heard Cindy's whistle? Cindy's got a loud whistle. Brennan's dad, people are saying, hey, Brennan. If it's a big room of people and he walks in and he needs him, I can't really do justice to it, so I'm not trying to imitate, but he just says, hey, B. And the way he says B, Brennan immediately, if you're watching Brennan, I mean, I'll find Danny often in the crowd. I'll say, hey, call Brennan. And I'll just watch Brennan. And as soon as he says it, he doesn't even have to say it really loud. Just the way he says it, Brennan's head immediately pops and finds him. When Annabelle played soccer at Central and middle school, and I would go and watch her, there was a way that, another dad used to laugh and joke with me because the way I would be heard above the crowd, I would just say, let's go, Belle. And the word Belle would just echo across the court, the field. And she would turn around and look at me and kind of give me a thumbs up, and I could cheer for her that way because she knew the sound of my voice. Some of you have people that you can imitate. I'm not talking about make fun of, but voices that you can impersonate. I'm not going to ask you to do an impression for us right now. That might be fun to see. But some of you may be good at impressions, right? Anybody here in the room, Eli is trying to not raise his hand. You got a good impression? A few. Do what? A few. Okay, a few or of you? A few. Oh, a few. Okay, I thought it was about to get really scary in here. Okay, you have a few impressions. All right, I'm not going to ask you to do any of them for us, but can you tell us who it is that you can impersonate? The what?
You know, like when they go 0% down, APY.
Okay, all right, very good. It's a very nuanced impression. That's good. Anybody else got an impression? Ethan, you're being voluntold. Okay. Oh. Very nice. That's very impressive. That's very impressive. My junior year of high school, I really enjoyed most of my teachers, and I could impersonate a lot of my teachers. And I would impersonate their mannerisms or their voice. I wasn't making fun of them. I wasn't mocking them. I could just impersonate them. And one of the teachers said, hey, that's really good. At our faculty meeting at the end of the year school meeting, would you come and do some of those? It's just kind of like a little icebreaker entertainment. I don't know why, but I agreed. And I went and I did a little presentation, and it was spot on for several of the teachers. There was a lot of laughter, and I thought, man, this is going really well, until one of the principals got up and said, that was really, really, really good. Does anybody have anything they want to say? And one of the teachers said he should have waited till his senior year to do that. I did it my junior year. I still had one more year to go. There was a guy in my world when I was younger. His name was Nick Bonacker. Nick was a guy at our scout camp, and he had a very, very unique voice. And it was a British-sounding voice. I've lost the ability to do it because I've not been around him very much. Nick just turned 82. I reconnected with him on Facebook and found him, and he actually met me at the San Diego airport and got to meet my family. That's another story that you don't want to hear. But Nick was one of the guys at our scout camp, and I could imitate him quite well. And I would often the other staff members would go, you got to hear this kid's impersonation of Nick Bonacker. They'd say, oh, come on, do it for us. And I would do it, and it was entertaining. I never would do it for him because I was embarrassed. But I would call out to other people with his voice, and they would come, from around the corner, and they would say, was Nick calling my name? And we'd say, no, he wasn't over here. Then they'd leave. I'd call out their name again. He'd come back over because they recognize the sound of that voice. Some of you may have recognizable voices that when a friend of yours calls you, how many of you get a call? How many of you have had a call this week where somebody's called? Okay, Tucker's raising his hand. Yes, you've had a phone call. Let me finish the question first, Tucker. How many of you have had a call this week where somebody just says, hey, it's me? How many of you get the hey, it's me? Now, how many of you have ever had somebody, don't embarrass anybody, don't point at anybody. How many of you have ever had the, hey, it's me call, and you instantly know this is my best friend, or this is maybe a significant other, or this is maybe a relative, and you know instantly who it is, right? Okay? You're like, hey, it's me, right? How many of you, hands down, have gotten a phone call recently where somebody gave you the, hey, it's me, and you weren't sure who me was? And me kept talking, and you still didn't know who me was. And me kept going on, and you're like, I don't know who this is. And you're thinking, now I've talked way too long in this conversation to say I don't know who this is, right? That's really embarrassing. And then you're asking context clues like, hey, what have you been up to? What did you do yesterday? Oh, what about that thing that happened at school today? You're just trying to get them to say something that lets them know who that is. And then finally they say, you don't know who this is, do you? And you go, no. And then they say it's, and they say their name. Now, raise your hand. Again, not calling people out. Don't point at anybody. How many of you have ever been able to say to somebody when they've said, it's me, and they go on, I don't know who me is, they tell you it is, and then you say to yourself, maybe you don't say it to them, like, you don't get to it's me. Does that make sense? You don't get to give me the it's me. Like, I don't think we know each other well enough to have the it's me. Like, how was I supposed to know it's you? I hardly know you, and yet you said it's me. Am I the only person that's ever had this phenomenon happen? Anybody else ever had this happen? Right? And you're like we got to be more, deeper friends, or maybe this is really weird that you just said it's me. Like, I'm going to need to know. Now, with caller ID, obviously, and with names on phones, it's a little more challenging to do that these days. As we've been thinking about voices, I got a book back in January. Went to a conference, and one of our friends, one of the guys that actually came to True North Live during when we were online here in the filling station, Chris Seidman. Some of you guys remember Chris. Some of you heard him at Impact or maybe other events. But Chris did a series that was very, very challenging, and was one that was, the reason I went to the series is because I thought this is a question that several students had asked, and I thought maybe this would help to answer it. Just how do we hear the voice of God? I asked some students recently this question. I'll ask some of you. And I just want you to raise your hand and give me a real answer. I'm not looking for a right answer. This isn't a test. This isn't Family Feud. We're not trying to score points. And I know this is more of a question for a class than maybe a larger setting. But some of you feel the freedom to raise your hand, and I'll call on a few of you. Can't get to everybody. When I say the phrase, we're going to talk about hearing God. We're going to talk about hearing God. And I'll just go ahead and show you. I think I've got it. We've talked about this, the series called Hearing Voices, the subtitle, Listening for God Amidst All the Other Noise. The book by Dallas Willard. Now, this is a dense book. It's not that big. I mean, you can see it. It's not that big of a book. It's very dense in that every chapter takes about 30 minutes or 40 minutes of my brain energy to focus on. It's tough to wade through. Are there people in this room that can handle it? Of course there are. There's people younger in this room. There's people sitting up here in this room that can handle this book. But it's a pretty dense book. But Dallas Willard is easily recognized as one of the world's leading Christian authors, theologians, and he passed away several years back, but is highly revered. And the challenge that we have in ministry is how to take something like this and say, I know that a seventh grader, certainly a 12th grader, needs everything on every page of this book, but how do you go through and condense it and make it to where a teenager goes, oh, okay, I get that, I need that. And yet every single one of you are asking questions that this book is written to not just answer, but to give you ways to think about. So let me ask this question. Here's the question. If I say we're going to talk about hearing God, I want somebody to say, this is what I think we might be about to talk about. I'd like to get some answers. This is a tough question, so I appreciate those willing to raise their hand. Like Colin here. Yes, what do you got? Okay, we're going to talk about prayer. Okay, all right, good. Okay, thanks, Finn. We're going to talk about having signs from God. Okay, all right. And by the way, all these answers are encompassed in that, but I want to get what you're thinking when you say we're going to talk about hearing God. Yeah, Georgia. Okay, reading the Bible. Okay, we're going to read the Bible. Okay, very good. Yes. I'm just repeating for the sake of people watching and other people who can't hear. How to understand what God is saying when you feel like God is saying something to you, okay? All right? That poses another question. Somebody says, wait a minute. Chandler just said how to understand when God is speaking to us. You turn to your neighbor like, is Chandler hearing from God? Like, is Chandler talking to God? Now, you said prayer. He's like, oh, well, Chandler's praying to God. Okay, but is he hearing from God? Now, let me ask this question. What are some ways, again, we're playing Family Feud, not looking for right answers, there's no points. What are some ways that we hear from God? What are some ways that you think we hear from God? All right, let's start over here. I see, yes, Elizabeth. From the people around us. Okay, that's a great answer. We're going to look at that. That's a really good answer and one that most people wouldn't think about. Lila? Okay, from the people around us. Elizabeth got your answer. Somebody would say, well, a burning bush. I mean, we see that in the Bible. God, we heard from God in a burning bush. And, Balaam heard from God through the mouth of a donkey, right? very much like what's happening right now. You said he heard from God through the mouth of a donkey. So maybe you're talking about God talking somehow through something or through a cloud. Is that what you're talking about? What are some other ways that we hear from God? Somebody? We've talked about the people around us. Do what? Okay, through a miracle or an experience or something that is strange. Okay? Somebody goes, uh-oh, this is getting weird. Like I don't know what's going on. Somebody else. Let's go to Tanner, then Landon. Tanner? Okay, our pain. We hear God sometimes through our pain. Okay, Landon? Okay, we hear God through the Bible. Now that would be, if we're playing Family Feud, that's probably going to be the number one answer, only because it seems to be the most obvious. And it's the one that when I was growing up, that was the way everybody said, if you want to hear what God says about anything, this is where to go. If God's going to speak to you, He's going to speak to you through this book. Now, what Dallas Willard would say, one thing I heard Chris Seidman say multiple times in his class in Colorado, that if your Bible is not open regularly, then your ears are not open regularly. If somebody says, I just don't hear from God, I've not heard anything from God, then what somebody would say is, then there's 1,500 pages of things that He's trying to say to you here. It's a great place to start. But there's some other answers as well. Yes, Alexa. Okay, through maybe a sign. We talked about some signs or something like that God, and people say, well, I don't know. That just seems like it's too easily messed up or made up to say, I got a sign from God. We'll talk about that some as well. One or two more answers. A way you might hear from God. Yes. Okay, a dream. It's a great answer. Somebody goes, oh, wait, what? Right? I'll talk about that. Only about 3 times in my life have I been completely convinced that I believe that God gave me a word from a dream. Now, I'm 51 years old. I've slept more than 3 nights. And so all of these things that we're talking about are not things that happen to people, the same person, every single day. But I do strongly believe that God speaks through all of these ways. Yes, we got another one. Through our prayers. Now, we may pray. You say God speaks through an answered prayer, right? Sometimes we pray and sometimes we're just silent and we say, I don't know if you've ever tried to pray like this. I've had several people guide me through prayers like this that have been a real blessing and say, we're going to pray, but we're not going to ask God for stuff. We're just going to say, God, I'm just going to sit here and be silent and I just want you to give me whatever you need to give me. Now, I recognize I'm talking to 7th graders, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th graders, and older people, college students, and you're like, this is very confusing. So hear me very carefully when I say this. I'm just trying to give you a vocabulary at an early age to understand the concept of what it means to hear from God. I'm not going to tell you every way that, how to do it and how to make it work and I'm not going to prove things. I'm just going to give you a vocabulary so that when it happens, then you may recognize and go, oh, that's God speaking. You remember Samuel and Eli way back when we started this series, before we got to the anxiety discussion, we talked about Samuel and Eli. Eli heard a voice. Samuel heard a voice. Samuel was young, heard a voice, God calling him, Samuel, Samuel. He goes to the bedroom down the hall to Eli and he says, hey, were you calling me? He says, I wasn't calling you. So he goes back. Samuel, Samuel. He goes back again. Are you calling me? This happens 3 times and he says, what's going on? Finally, Eli goes, oh, I know what's going on. You're hearing God. And next time God speaks, this is what you should say. So whether you're 7th grade, 12th grade, everybody in between, I just want you to know this is the purpose of this series, is just an older voice saying to a younger voice, when these things happen, here are some things you should probably do. I'm not going to say, oh, that's definitely God, or oh, this is how you do it, or this is where you go. All I can say is this is how you should position yourself, and then here's what you say. Is that a fair way to does everybody follow that so far? I know some of you have different levels of, church experience and Bible experience, but I think we can all follow that. I promised you a friend, and I want to bring a friend of mine on that we've got online. And you met John McCall first during our pandemic broadcast during True North Live when we were in here in the filling station. And John came on. John works at Disney and we'll let him tell us a little bit about what he does. So some of you remember John. John's a good friend of mine. He's an elder at a church. There's John. Let's give a big NBYG welcome to John McCall, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Guys, we'll turn these lights, or maybe let's cut the emergency lights so that we can see the screen just a little bit more easily there. So, John, you're coming to us from Orlando. Is that right?
Yes, I am. How's everybody doing?
We're doing great. This time you can actually see us, and we can see you, and you can hear us. That's all. It's great.
You may want to turn the lights back up. You don't see me very
well. That's right. So, John,
yeah.
You're an elder at a church there in Orlando, correct?
Yes, West Orange Church of Christ, yes.
How long have you been a shepherd?
I've been a shepherd now for about 7 years.
Okay. And John, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say 7 years. It's been awesome.
Yeah. And you work for Disney, and you specifically work for a division called?
Yellow Shoes. It's called Disney's Yellow Shoes, and where we kind of come in the organization, we kind of work with Imagineers and the rest of the company to kind of, what we do is the marketing, and we advertise if there's a new attraction, if there's new lands, if there's new tickets, all that kind of stuff. That's what we talk about. We create social media, we create little shorts, we create videos, streaming videos that you see on your social media and on TV too, so.
Yes, several. There's some commercials that you put together, and one of them was after the pandemic. I was particularly excited about one of your. You know which one I'm talking about?
Was it Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway?
Well, that's the ride I was excited about. There was a commercial that came out called as things were beginning to open up. There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow began to play.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
And you had
favorites. Yeah.
You had a hand in that, I believe, and you knew that was one of my favorites from the Carousel of Progress, which is nobody's favorite ride except for mine.
When you think of who loves the Carousel of Progress, Skidmore rides to the top. Absolutely.
That's right.
The whole time we were working on that, I kept thinking of you because I was like, he's going to be so happy that we're using this song. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, the first time I heard the commercial, I was upstairs, and I ran downstairs to find out why I was hearing that song come from my television. But you mentioned Mickey's Runaway Railway, Mickey and Minnie's Run. How many of you have ridden that ride down at Disney, if you've gone down there and ride it? It's actually quite fun. It's really a well-conceived ride. So there's one story and one reason that we asked you to come tonight, John. And that is we wanted to say hi to you again and have you join us again because we're glad that you're a friend of the NBYG. So that ride becomes an idea. They develop the ride. They then come to you and say, we're now going to need some advertising for the ride. And your job is to go and pitch what? What do you have to go into a room and pitch?
Well, we have to go in basically what we do, we come up any ideas that can help tell people about what this attraction is all about. And really, again, I mentioned working with Imagineering. We worked with some awesome Imagineers, legendary Imagineers that created Tower of Terror and all these wonderful, amazing conceptual people. And so we wanted to do something fun with them. And our whole thing was, let's create stories that use Mickey and Minnie in the attraction, the same way they're going to use them in the attraction. And we wanted to make sure that we used them in our commercials and everything as well, in the same animation style and everything that was going to be in the attraction. So that's what we did. It was a lot of fun.
So you go into a room where the ride's not open yet, right? And
No.
they say, okay, help us, the Imagineers, the people who planned the ride, designed the ride, the builders who built the ride. And then they bring in your group and say, okay, let's find a way to tell people what this is about. So you got a whole, it's like going into an elders meeting. You've got a big table of people there.
There's a lot of people, right. There's a lot of people. A lot of people. We've got a presentation. We're always nervous. I don't care how long I've been here, how many times I do it. I'm still always very nervous. And that's what we do. We present a lot of different ideas. And lots of times, especially when we're writing for characters, different characters, we have to make sure, kind of pertaining to what you're speaking about tonight is voice. And we have to make sure that whether we're writing it or whether we're speaking it, whatever, it really goes back to these characters' voices. These are favorite and famous characters, and we want to make sure that we're capturing the right voice with them. So
we were. Last time I was down there at Disney, I got to go visit with you. We went in and we're going to ride the ride. It was my first time to ride it. You were so excited to watch me ride it. You told me a story in line that I thought was so great. You said, hey, we were actually pitching the commercial, or one of the commercials, and you're there. And to try to make your pitch more enthusiastic, you kind of get into character, right? And you're you're kind of doing a storyboard of the commercial. So just walk us through, pretend like you're doing that for us and kind of give us a sample of what happened that day.
Well, sure. Sure. What we do is we mentioned voices and, capturing these voices. I'm writing for Mickey Mouse. And so what happens oftentimes when we're creating and writing these stories and having to present the idea, we sometimes have to do the voice as well. And so I got to where I was doing the voice a lot. Everybody says, "Oh, you're getting better at that." "Oh, thanks a lot." And I did this for about 3 or 4 different months and stuff. So, I'm going around going, "Oh, wow," doing all these voices of Mickey, Skidmore's the best. And we would go around, do these different things, as I'm presenting and stuff. And so it got to the point, well, everybody loved the idea and it's great. And, here I am recording my voice as Mickey Mouse. It was really cool. It was awesome. It was like, oh, this was fun, being all these different characters and being silly. And then it came time to actually do the commercial. Okay, now we're going to really record it. And it was funny because I'd done this voice for so long. And then in walks in the booth the real guy that does Mickey Mouse. Or should I say Mickey walked in. And he starts doing, Mickey's voice. And I'm like, that's Mickey's voice. It's so crazy seeing this guy do this, and it's Mickey's real voice, and it's the real voice. And yet it was one of the most proud moments of my whole career when he was listening. I was like, oh no, that means he's gonna have to listen to me oh no, he's gonna hear me doing Mickey, and I'm gonna sound like such a hack, And he's sitting there listening to it and everything. And he goes, "That's pretty good." And I was like, "Oh, I can go home. I'm done. I don't want to hear anything else today." Mickey said I sounded like him. That's good stuff. But it was the real voice when he did it, and it was effortless, and it was so good. And I don't forget thinking, man, it means so important to have and hear the real voice. And I think the thing about it, especially your point tonight, is it when you hear it. And I think that's one of the important things that I'm taking from what you're saying tonight too, is that when you hear the voice of God, if you've been praying and you've been walking with him and you've been studying and you've been, really working on your walk with the Lord, I feel like you hear him in a lot of different ways, like you mentioned tonight, but that voice when you hear it, for sure.
So, when you're telling me that story in line, and especially when the current Mickey voice, the current Mickey, how long has he been Mickey?
He's been, Mickey now for about 12 years, I believe.
Now, did you not tell me that you also met, was it Goofy and Donald that day?
Yes. Now, Goofy, the voice of Goofy, has been doing the voice of Goofy forever. I'm talking like 40-something years. And if you hear Goofy, that's the one person. He's doing awesome stuff. It's fantastic. So really
you're
great.
Standing there in a room talking to three guys, and you're like, wait a minute, this is Goofy, Mickey, and Donald.
Right, exactly. They're all like the real voices, and it's just amazing to hear these real voices kind of coming through and shining through. It's amazing.
Well, so let's just change gears for 1 second for a final question, John, because I told you that the series is about hearing the voice of God.
Right.
There's a lot of noise in the world, a lot of noise in your life, a lot of busyness, a lot of stuff going on in the world, a lot of distraction, a lot of other competing voices. I don't want to put you on the spot, and I'm not trying to get you to say one right thing or one specific thing. What would you say to a room full of students as a shepherd, not just a guy with a cool Disney job, but as an elder, as a pastor, as a believer, as a disciple of Jesus? What is one piece of advice you would give about positioning yourself to more effectively be able to hear what God might be trying to say in you and to you?
It's a really great question. I think recently, to me, I think it's to remember. I think we first have to remember, and I don't know that we hear this enough from ourselves, and that we truly believe it enough, and that when we read the Bible and we pray, to really remember that God loves us. God loves us. And there's a lot of times I read it. I don't know if you guys have ever read John Acuff. I think he's fantastic. He lives there in Nashville. He's a wonderful writer. And there's this quote that he wrote. And it just says, if you listen to any thought or voice long enough, it becomes part of your personal playlist. Mm-hmm. And it really struck home with me when I read that, because that voice that we hear in our head, even though it may be our voice, doesn't necessarily mean that it's coming from us all the time. Sometimes we're our worst enemies of talking bad about, oh, I didn't do this right, or we beat ourselves up. And I think it's very important to remember to go back to that one thought I just said, that remember that God loves us. And so the voices that we talk to ourselves in need to be positive as well. I know it helps to hear positive things from other people, but man, internally, it really helps to hear that positive voice from yourself.
Yeah.
And remember that, hey, we all make mistakes. We've all done dumb things. We've all done a lot of different things that, man, we wish we didn't do or we could do. That positive voice, we have to keep hope, and we have to know that God loves us and that there's only the betterment for us there. So that's what I would say. And especially here, it's so easy to listen to that negativity and to get caught up in it because, man, we're just wildfire now. Oh, I don't like this. They're so black and white right now about things. And we don't really want to think about the gray areas and really go deeper. And I feel like listening is going deeper and hearing that voice is going deeper. So I think it's important for us to do that.
Well, John, I wanted you to come in just as another, no pun intended, another voice that can talk about voices, because you have a job with a unique connection to hearing very recognizable voices. I watched a YouTube video of a guy who goes to the Disney parks. He's just a regular, customer, visitor, tourist like me. And he goes and he does the voices of all the characters in line as he meets the characters and astounds them because he's amazing. Some of you probably seen this guy. He's unbelievable. And they're all amazed, like, wow, you sound just like this character. And so as somebody who knows recognizable voices, I just thought it'd be a great way to illustrate that. Thanks for coming in, John. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you so much for having you guys. That are such a wonderful group. I really do appreciate it.
Yep. Say thanks to John, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, John. We'll talk to you later. Take care.
Have a good evening. See y'all.
We got a few moments, and I'm going to tell you one story, and I need to preface this one story with don't read more into the story than it's there. It's going to sound like I'm prepping you for some big news in our life. That's not the case at all. I'm not going anywhere, staying here, but I wanted to let you know of one of the most profound moments of my life that I don't share a whole lot, maybe once every 3 or 4 years. But in 2001, when we faced the decision to come to North Boulevard, to move to Murfreesboro, we were very happy at a church that we worked with for a long time. We'd been there for 5 years. We were so blessed, people in this room that were at that church. And we had faced the opportunity to make the move to Murfreesboro. And when I think about hearing God, I go back to this moment. And these, again, I'll tell you stories that you may think, oh my goodness, I can't believe those kind of things happen. I have maybe 7 or 8 of these moments that I could point to in my life and go, this lets me know that there's something bigger than what I had pictured about the way God communicates. Now, some of you will hear this story and think I'm making too much of something that was too small. And if that's the case, then that's fine. But we were agonizing over whether or not to move here. And I was struggling. I had lost weight because I was so stressed about it. I was worried about it. I was in a mental fog because the decision to uproot my family was, even though our family was small then, we only had one child then, was very nerve-wracking. And our minister had left to go to Russia on a mission trip, and he was gone. So I was very young, and I was left to kind of fill some of the duties there at the church. There was not many other people on staff. It was me and him and a couple others. I had to do a couple of sermons, and then I had to fill in for a couple of meetings. And then I had to do my very first funeral. And I'd never done a funeral. And I was terrified to do my very first funeral. It was not for a family member. It was for a lady who was 92 years old. And I did not know the family. I went to the hospital to meet the family and learn about the family. And then I did the funeral because I was scared to death because I thought I've never met this lady and now I've got to get up and honor her life. But I gathered some stories and I wove them together and I did a service. But the whole time I'm just thinking, why is our minister overseas and I'm already worried about this other thing. Why have I got to do this? I did the funeral that one night, and then the next day was going to be the graveside service was the next day, which is odd because most funerals are going to have the funeral and the graveside at the same time. And it was the next morning at 10:30. So I got there, at 10. So I got there at 9:40 just to be there, to look for the green tent, to look where the casket was and find where the family was. I was going to go there. And I got there and walked up, and I saw the tent, and I saw the hole in the ground, but I did not see anybody there. And I thought, have I missed it? Am I at the wrong place? I looked around. This is before the days of cell phones when I could text somebody. And I walked up, and the only person I saw was an old gentleman sitting off to the side who had on glasses and then had those big sunglasses that fit over your glasses, like the big protective sunglasses. And he was facing straight ahead, and he was not moving. And I walked up, and I was frustrated. I'm confessing to you, I was frustrated that I had to be there. I thought, now I've given up 2 days for this funeral. I'm sorry, this sounds horrible, y'all, but I'm telling you, I just was like, I'm worried about this big transition. I don't know what to do. And I sat there, and I went and sat down, and I looked, and I said, good morning. And I heard, good morning. And I said, is this the graveside for sister? And I said the name, and he goes, yes, yeah, it is. And I said, I'm sorry, I thought it was supposed to start at 10. He said, oh, no, they moved it to 10:30. They announced it at the funeral last night. And I said, they did? Well, okay. I was like, I would have been the one announcing that. I didn't say that. I didn't want to be rude to this gentleman. And I said, when did they announce that? He said, well, at the end, they just said they were moving it. And I said, okay. Well, all right, fine. Now I thought, when is it? He said 10:30. Now I'm thinking, great, I got to stay here for 45 minutes in the silence, and I don't want to be here. And he said, are you the young man that did the service last night? And I said, yes, sir, I am. And he said, well, I'm blind, but I recognized your voice. And I said, oh. Then I thought, well, I've got to be nice. I've got to be civil. And I said, well, what's your name? He told me his name, and I said, are you related? He says, yes, I'm her 94-year-old brother. I'm her older brother. And I thought, oh, wow, okay, that's great. He said, you did a really good job honoring the voice of my sister. Honoring the life of my sister. And I said, well, thank you. He said, yeah, I recognized your voice, and I enjoyed the stories you told. Some of those even I had forgotten, and I know you didn't know her, but you did a really good job of honoring her life. And I said, well, thank you. I'm sorry that I couldn't have done a better job. I was distracted. I didn't really want to talk. I sat kind of far off to the side. I was hoping people would show up, other family members, because I was so stuck in this world that I was in. And he said, boy, you sound a whole lot like the preacher at our church that we just had. And I said, oh, really? How old are you? And I told him, he said, yeah. He was about that age. He just recently moved and went to Texas. I said, oh, okay. Well, that's really something. And we sat there, and I thought, I'm thinking, God, I've got this huge decision. I don't know what to do. And he said, hey, scoot down here a second. So I scooted over like a few seats. There were still 3 seats between us. And he said, yeah, we were really sad to lose him. We didn't want him to go. But it was a good thing for his family that he went. And he's doing really, really well. I said, okay, well, that's good. He said, yeah, it was really tough on him. He worried about what to do. Now he's got my attention. And I turned and looked. Keep in mind, don't read more into the story. This happened 20 years ago, not referring to anything happening currently, except that it relates to what we're talking about. And then a moment that has happened in my life, and in 51 years, I've only had a few other moments like it that involve watching, my children come into this world or being baptized into Christ, are the only moments that equal this moment. He said, son, scoot over here beside me. Still looking straight ahead. And I scooted over beside him, and I sat down, and if Chandler's me, he's sitting beside me, and he said, it was really tough on him to know what to do. And he turned and looked at me through those, I never saw his eyes, and he said, but sometimes we just need to know that it's okay to move. Things are going to be fine. I just thought you might need to hear that. And then a car drove up, and somebody got out, and they saw the family, and they walked up, and they started talking to old Uncle so-and-so, and I sat there with tears running down my face, thinking, the God who put the rings around Saturn, I'm pretty sure just spoke to me. Now, you may say, you're just being dramatic. You're just being silly. There's not a person in the room that can't convince me that God found a way to say a word through this 94-year-old guy. Now, I told that story, and a friend of mine here said, oh, man, next time you tell that story, you should tell people. And then you told that story, and they said, she didn't have a 94-year-old brother. No, she did. He was really a guy. I don't remember his name. I remember exactly what he was wearing. It was a brown suit. I remember those sunglasses. And I remember thinking, I think I've just heard the voice of God. And I went home and I told my wife, and I said, we're moving to Murfreesboro. She said, oh, we are? And I said, yes. She goes, why? I said, because God just told me we are. And I told her the story. I'm telling you that because I want you to know that I do believe there are times in our life that God speaks through His Word. I do believe that God speaks through other people. I do believe that God speaks through dreams. I do believe that God speaks through visions. I do believe that God speaks through strange circumstances. Now, before you say, hey, wait a minute, this is getting a little creepy, and I don't think it happens every day. It may have happened to me 5 or 6 times. People that I know, it's not happening all the time. But I do believe there are a lot of ways that God speaks, and we've got to learn to listen. And I want to show you one last little clip. Mike's going to play a clip that a friend of mine showed me just the other day, and this is pretty cool. A shepherd that tours people all throughout to his pasture. He brings them in and talks about raising sheep. And then he tells them, he says, here's all my sheep on this hill. And what I want you to do is I want you to go and I want you to try to say the magic phrase. And he gave them the phrase. And I don't even know what it is. It's some sort of just gibberish to try to get the sheep. He said, I want you to say it. And then I want you to say it. And then I want you to say it. And I want you to stand here and I want you to call my sheep. And then the guy in the brightly colored jacket is the shepherd. And he wants to demonstrate this. You already know what's going to happen based on the passage that was read by Kate. But let's watch this. We'll close out tonight. We'll pick up here again next week. Mike, roll that clip.
One more time.
Oh, one is.
Louder!
Look at them, look at them.
Watch their faces.
Isn't that amazing?
They are coming. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't believe this. Oh my God. This is right. Oh my God. This is amazing. One more.
You scared them.
Yeah, Eunice made him go away.
Oh my God.
Was that cool or what?
Yeah.
You will never have the same again.
I'm not going to read it to you. I just want you to read. And this will be our closing prayer, and then we'll let you help us move some tables. But just let this sink in tonight. The reason that we gather here every week is so that we might teach you the way to recognize the voice of the shepherd, so that when he calls, your head pops up and you say, that's the direction I've got to go. When you're with friends and something's going down that you know shouldn't happen and you hear the voice of the shepherd, you go, that's the way I got to go. When you're on a college campus and you're trying to figure out who you're going to date or who you're going to marry, and you're with somebody that may not be leading you closer to God, and you hear the voice of the shepherd, you go, that's the way I got to go. Or when you're just sitting at True North and you're just stuck because you don't have any friends, or you're mad at your friends, or things aren't going well and life stinks and all the people around you seem to be doing so well except for your life, but you hear the voice of the shepherd, then your head pops up and you know exactly where to go. And so for the next several weeks, we're going to try to give you a vocabulary so that you can begin to recognize here might be some ways that God might be speaking. So from an older Eli to younger Samuels, men and women, boys and girls, let's just try to learn to listen a little more effectively. Let me pray, and then guys, we're going to open up these doors right here, grab some tables, put them up, and you all be safe as you all go home. God, we thank you for being the good shepherd. We thank you that we are your sheep, the sheep of your pasture. God, we come to worship you, and tonight, God, as I just watched everybody worship, it was very much like that video of a whole bunch of sheep just looking and going and flocking and moving closer and closer to the voice of the shepherd. God, may we do that more and more. And for those of us who are hard of hearing, open our ears. And God, to open our ears, we might need to open up your word. And then we might need to open up our eyes. And then we might need to open up our hearts. So be with us as we go on that journey. And it's through the name of your Son that we pray. And we all say together, amen. God bless you guys. Let's move some tables. Have a great night. We'll see you all soon.